Good evening. In this video, as you might have guessed, I will be reading my first Emily Henry book, specifically People We Meet on Vacation. Now, this book is important to me because I am trying to determine whether or not I like contemporary romance. Last year, I read a lot of romance novels. Maybe I'll put it up on the screen if I remember. But my favorite romances were not contemporaries. My favorite romances were speculative romances. So in this video, what I am trying to do is to figure out if, look, maybe contemporaries are just not for me. And the reason why I'm doing this with an Emily Henry book is because Emily Henry is basically the final boss of contemporary romance novels. She is beloved by many, and there's a lot of hype around her and her books, and she seems to be really good at her job. So I figure if I don't like an Emily Henry contemporary romance, the genre is just not for me. This is basically me convincing myself in video form of something that I already know. But sometimes you have to go through something for it to sink in, I guess. The other thing that this video is about is me giving audiobooks another shot. I've tried reading audiobooks before, but they were non-fiction. So I'm thinking maybe it'll work in fiction. I would like to be able to read a book while I'm doing stuff. That would be great. I picked People We Meet on Vacation because this one seems to be the most popular one. I don't know. And the other ones weren't interesting. One of them had a weird fake dating thing. The one that came out last year, people don't like. So I was like, okay, I'll pick this one up, I guess. Is it unfair to put all of that on this one book and this one author? Yes, it is. But I'm still gonna do it. So let's get to it. Let's start reading. Except I've already started reading People We Meet on Vacation. I've gotten 12 minutes into the audiobook of People We Meet in Vacation, and good lord, I hate the main character already. I hate her. This is written in first person when we are told the story from her perspective, and she describes herself or is described as having dog energy. Hate that. Hate it. Love dogs though. I am very much a dog person, but hate that. I'm just exhausted by her already. It's only been 12 minutes, but I'm already tired. And then the guy, the male character, not interesting. He has a cat. He's really surly in a way that isn't interesting. So we're off to a rough start, but I'm gonna read Book Lovers instead. I think I might like Book Lovers more because the main character in that one, the female main character in that one, is apparently a little bit of a bitch, which I love because I'm a bitch myself. Also, it's Grumpy Sunshine, and the man is the grump, and the lady is the manic pixie dream girl sunshine lady. Tired. Aren't you guys tired of this dynamic? Because I'm tired. And also, this is just boring. Nothing has happened. Now, in terms of the audiobook experience, I love the narrator. Narrator is Julia Whelan. Love her. Love her voice. Love her manner of speech. Love her pronunciation. I even love how she lowers her voice for the male dialogue, but not in an exaggerated way. It doesn't sound like a stand-up comedy routine, just enough that you recognize that, oh, a man is talking now. I love everything about Julia Whelan, but something wasn't working for me. I wasn't getting immersed into the story, and I realized it's because this is written in first person, and having Julia Whelan talking to me, it feels like a friend telling me a story. It feels conversational, but it doesn't work for this writing style, for Emily Henry's writing style, because she's very descriptive. I want to say overly descriptive. His sandy brown hair, I flipped my blonde waves. The person walks into a bar and describes literally everything in the most flowery language possible. That does not work for the experience of a friend telling you a story, because you would be like, what is happening? Are you high? What's happening? It would not take 12 minutes for a friend to tell you that, hey, when I was on holiday, I walked into a bar and I met my friend there or whatever, and I'm trying to get him dating again or whatever's going on in this book. So that's why this is not working for me. Am I drawing any conclusions about audiobooks from this experience? I'm thinking it might need to be in third person. I might need to pick up one in third person to be sure. But at this point, I feel like I'm forcing the issue, my time will come maybe when I'm older and my eyes don't work properly anymore, where I will have to read books via audiobook. But until then, I won't force the issue. So that's that. But my final verdict on People We Meet on Vacation: hate the characters, bored by the dynamic, nothing seems to be happening in the book. I am going to read Book Lovers now, and hopefully I'll like it. And hopefully the main character is a real bitch, like a real bitch, like me. Good morning. I don't know if I'm in focus or not, and I'm not going to check. Also, look at how shaky this is. Anyway, I've started Book Lovers. And so far, I'm liking it more than People We Meet in Vacation. But that's mostly because I'm just not finding these characters. Like, I don't hate these characters. Like, I hated those characters. And for me, if a character is not annoying me, then I'm happy. I don't need to, like, love them. That would be great if I did. But, like, I'm okay if, as long as they're just not annoying me, which is happening, except for one character. And I think if you've read this book, I think you know who it's Libby. It's obviously Libby. When is she going? Anyway, so it's got that going for it. The characters are not as annoying as People We Meet on Vacation, so that's great. Yay. Okay, so what is the story? What has happened so far? Is there a plot? Does this book have a plot? So far, we've met Nora, who is our main character, and she is described as an ice queen. She's not. She's just a workaholic and she's a people pleaser. As somebody who is a certified bitch, she's not one of us, I'm sorry. Which is a little bit disappointing because I was looking forward to reading like a nice fellow black cat energy gal in a book, but she's not one of us. She's like a chihuahua. She's not. No, chihuahuas don't do anything. Chihuahuas are like high strung, but they don't do anything. What house pet can I compare it to? A fish? Fish are not anxious enough. What's like a really anxious, eager to please pet that like does a lot of things, but like not in a fun, cute way, like a herding dog, but like in a high-strung, aggressive way. I don't know. Whatever house pet that is, she's that. Anyway, the story. So yeah, we've met Nora and we've met her sister Libby. Libby is pregnant and she has, I don't know, 10 kids or something, and she's married to a predator. That's what Libby is about. She and her sister used to be close, Nora and Libby, until recently. I don't know, Libby's been a bit weird. She's like stressed out about something, I don't know, and Nora does not ask her. I'm really annoyed by how much time we are spending on this, especially considering the fact that this is fixable in a conversation. Hey, sis, what's happening? They call each other sissy in this book. Hey, sissy, what's happening? Are you okay? What's going on? You seem strange. Let's sit down. Let's have a cup of tea. Oh, they're American, so sweet tea. Let's have a cup of cold tea in a glass and discuss like what's happening with you, instead of that they are going on some trip that Libby organizes to a small town. I guess that's going to be the setting of the romance, and that's the plot. Apparently these two sisters are going on vacation to a small town, and they have like a list, and part of that list is that Nora has to date or whatever. And that's another thing that, you know what, I should make a whole video about how people don't know how to write like real ice queen or bitchy characters. So that's the story. They're going on vacation. What is happening? Why is there so much Libby in this? I have yet to meet the mailman character, but that might be my fault because I think he makes an appearance in the prologue. Like they have like a bad initial meeting in the prologue. I skip prologues. They don't do anything. Do you see how I know that they have like a bad initial meeting in the prologue, but I didn't read the prologue? That just tells you everything you need to know about prologues. Anyway, this book is, I'm not struggling through it. And the reason why I'm not struggling through it is the thing that I have an issue with. And my main issue with this is that this is moving so slowly. Things are moving way too slowly. Whatever plot there is, so slow. It's because of the way Emily Henry writes. There is a pattern to the way that she writes. This is what the pattern is, okay? So you have the setting, and then you get a long description, then something actually happens or dialogue happens that moves the plot forward. This is rare. Then after that we get quips, and sometimes they're funny, sometimes they're not. I mean, it's just, humor is subjective, so whatever. Then after the quips we get a deep dive or an expansion into the thing that just happened, and usually that comes in the form of some sort of anecdote from their childhood or something. Nora loves to be like, when Libby was 3 years old. When I was 12, when we were living in New York, my mother was doing. There's a lot of that. Then we get some more dialogue, then we get some more quips, and then another thing will happen that moves the story along. Dialogue or action. That's the pattern. That's why things are taking so long to happen, because there's so much in between. There's a lot of when we were kids. So much. Wow, tell me more about how you were children and growing up in New York, please. I would love to know more about that. Please, Nora. Also, Nora is not an ice queen name. Sorry, it's just not. Like, an ice queen name is like something sharp. Okay? Like Victoria. Vicky. And she gets angry if you call her Vicky. The benefit of that is that this does make this easy to skim read because, the pattern is easy to spot. So my eyes can sort of glaze over the when we were children parts and he has sandy blonde eyes or whatever. Whatever, she likes to do that. She loves her flowery descriptions of things, Emily Henry. But like, this is fiction. I should not be skimming a fiction romance novel like I'm back in university skimming my food technology textbooks. It also makes this easy to put down and forget about. Like, I'll start another book and then remember, wait, I'm reading a book, Nora and Libby's Grand Adventure, which is apparently gonna turn into a romance at some point. You know what it is, man? I was raised on Harlequins and MNBs. You know what I mean? A good 200-page, like a nice, this pocket-sized Harlequin fits in your handbag. 200 pages. I was raised on that. 200 pages max. And in those books, the authors don't have space for this amount of self-indulgence in explorations into the psyche of the most painfully mediocre Westerners I've ever read in my entire life. Nothing about Libby or Nora is interesting enough to warrant this amount of, diving into their childhoods. I simply do not care. I simply don't care. They are unremarkable. God, I really want to pick up a Harlequin right now, honestly. Anyway, I am going back to sleep. It's Sunday morning. Hello, and welcome back to the Nora and Libby show. Wow. I'm tired. I'm tired of these two idiots. I finished this book, which is saying a lot because I don't remember the last time I finished a contemporary romance. So let me start with the compliments before I start with my many complaints. The first compliment is that I like that Emily Henry has a distinctive writing style, that she's actually trying to do something with her writing, and you can see her skill as an author. I appreciate that. It might not be for me, but I do appreciate that she's trying something, that she didn't think, it's just contemporary romance, I'll just phone it in, like she's actually actively trying to write a good book. I like anybody who takes the romance genre seriously, respects their craft no matter what genre they're writing in. I appreciate that. Also, the romance between Charlie and Nora is great. Emily Henry did a really good job showing their romantic and sexual chemistry. It was great. The romance part of this book, amazing. So I understand completely why people like these books. I can see why. She is good at her job and people appreciate that, and I love that. Onto the book itself. This, I will say, I did finish this because this is very easy to sleepwalk through, which I think maybe is the point of contemporary books, whether they're contemporary romances or otherwise. Also, it was like a lazy Sunday afternoon. I was just reading this and I really wanted to read a book, but I was too lazy to pick up another one. If there was another book that was screaming my name, that I was super duper excited to pick up, this would not have stood a chance. Now let's start with my many complaints. Like I said, the romance stuff is where this book shines. Charlie and Nora together, I love that. They belong together and I love that. And I love that they found each other and and I was happy for them at the end. Too bad that these scenes are so far and few between. My God, like I said, it was the Nora and Libby show. The whole way through, this was very much just a family drama between Laura and Libby, and a very silly one too. Another thing that kept me reading was the mystery of what is Libby hiding? What is going on? Is she getting a divorce? Is she finally going to divorce her predator husband? No, that's not the secret. The secret is the dumbest shit ever. All of this drama for that. There's no plot. It's just family drama. It's just them being in a small town. It's just Nora and Charlie editing the worst book ever. It's so bad. A book that has a decent book in a book is the Bromance Book Club, the first one. The book inside that book is better than the actual narrative frame. Horrible book. The book that Dusty was writing, wow, so bad. Such a bad book. Bad and melodramatic, which is my other complaint. There was a lot. This book was so dramatic for no reason, and also again because of what the family drama ended up being. So we were in Nora's head the whole time, and she was whipping herself up into a frenzy and just not communicate. Just ask your sister, what's wrong? Sit her down and be what's up? I'm gonna spoil this book. I'm not gonna skirt around this. Everybody has read this. Sit down and tell your sister, Ayo, I bought a house here and we're moving here. The dramatic reaction to Libby telling her that she was moving. But it's New York. But New York is so beautiful. But bodegas and pizzas, constantly having a mental breakdown over every small thing, Nora was exhausting to me. I think if this was written in third person, it would have made this less exhausting because I don't like having like dual POVs in my romances. I don't like knowing what the love interest is thinking because I think that takes away a lot of the tension in the book. But this would have benefited from third person so that we're not stuck in Nora's head the whole time, just constantly whipping herself into a frenzy over her sister, over every small thing, constantly reminiscing about New York, about when Libby was 12 years old. New York in the springtime is this New York, oh my god. Whew, good lord. The other complaint I have is, I think, just a general contemporary rom-com romance complaint, and that is just the childishness in general. Placing bets and stuff. Who does that? That's my main issue with contemporaries. They're serious, but they're also just not serious. They also just have the goofiest, dumbest, corniest shit ever, but at the same time they're trying to be very serious, and that just gives me whiplash. It's like one second we're doing pratfalls and bets, stupid bets, and the next minute Nora is having a mental breakdown over getting a phone call from like a publishing house or something. I don't know. Oh my god, Nora. The other complaint I have that I think is a thing with contemporary romance in general is just how dull this was. Nothing happened. Nothing was happening. There was no plot to speak of. And also it was too long. And again, I mentioned melodrama. This was extremely melodramatic. Way too melodramatic for me. Nora constantly having a mental breakdown and hyperventilating over the smallest thing, whether it's a phone call from a job offer, and then stuttering and stammering. Everything has an over-the-top reaction and everything has an over-the-top explanation. Like, she has nightmares or like insomnia or whatever. It can't just be insomnia. Someone cannot just have insomnia. There has to be a very traumatic, melodramatic reason why someone has insomnia. Like, oh, when I was sleeping over at my boyfriend's house, my mom died and Libby called me and I wasn't there, and now I'm traumatized and now I have nightmares. Now I can't sleep over. Like, what? So, oh my god, so over the top. There was a certain point in the book when it was just Nora crying constantly. Like, just constantly whining and crying, and Charlie comforting her. Again, like, I was happy for them. Like, I'm happy she found somebody. So melodramatic. Also, the humor. This is the first time I've read a rom-com where I actually laughed at several of the jokes in the book. So that's nice. All in all, I have defeated the final boss of contemporary romance and found the genre as a whole lacking, but the author herself impressed me. I get why Emily Henry is so big, and I love that for you. I love that there is somebody like Emily Henry writing books for the contemporary girlies, somebody who cares about what they're writing. 3 out of 5 stars. Will never pick up another contemporary romance again. Bye. Oh my god, you know what else? I have another compliment. I read the sex scenes. I actually read the sex scenes. I didn't skip through them. And I only cringed like once or twice, which is wow, that's crazy. Most of the time, the cringiness in sex scenes comes from the dialogue in between. Usually it's awful, and that's what made me cringe. There's a part when Charles says something like, "You undo me," or some shit like that.